What's up, guys? It is 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific Standard Time. That's right, Standard Time. Winter is coming soon, and it feels like winter already. It's Thursday, December 16th, 2021 AD, Anno Domini. And I have some stuff to show to you. Have a fun, I think it's like going to be probably a loosey-goosey Thursday show. We'll get to your calls. Have some nice John Wayne memes, because we were talking about John Wayne in light of Kyle, Jack Bauer, John Wick, John Wayne Rittenhouse. Had a caller who was smearing the man. Maybe he was confusing him with John Wayne Gacy. There was a black female feminist who died at the young age of 69 years old. What a shame. By the way, the ADL is evil. That's not news, but I have a little report on that. And this New York Police Department commissioner, whom I covered a little bit yesterday and in Hake News today, I'm going to talk a little bit about her. I have some clips and a nice throwback on another lesser-known fake, not even a hate crime, just a fake so-called hate paraphernalia. But anyway, guys, all that in your calls and your chats, and some Christmas music courtesy of liberal Sufjan Stevens. Let's get right on with the show!
Have you been naughty or nice?
It's the Hake Report, the Hake Report. La la la. It's the Hake Report, the Hake Report. La la la.
Hey guys!
It's the Hake Report, the Hake Report. La la la. It's the Hake Report, the Hake Report. La la la.
So, how are you guys doing? I am fine. Trying to keep my spine aligned. Hat tip to Lin Yen Chin. Thank you, man. Appreciate the constructive criticism, the advice. So that I don't... So even if I'm a little bit left over congested from my sickness last month I was sick. Can you believe it? Into like early December, I guess. Man, feels like just a couple of weeks ago. I can still not get lightheaded when I belt out my hey guys with my deep masculine voice. What's up, Skip? How you doing? Before I get to, I do want to get to some calls, but I want to just talk briefly and share with you some nice stuff and some not so nice stuff. This is courtesy, and I do have some super chats from yesterday and early this morning to read. Appreciate you guys. Thank you to Dan E. and Based America First. But some John Wayne memes, guys. Have some John Wayne memes. John Wayne, if you're not familiar, my understanding of him, I do not remember him in my lifetime. He may have been around. But, and I don't know if I've seen any of his movies. I've hardly, honestly, even seen any of the classic Clint Eastwood movies, to be honest. Clint Eastwood, probably a liberal compared to John Wayne. But these are courtesy. These memes, or they're not even really memes, they are quotes. Purported quotes from the actor and American John Wayne, who loved the country. I think he was a Christian. I think he was. So Hollywood was not quite so corrupt as it is today, I don't think. But even then, Hollywood was corrupt. John Wayne. Here's one quote referring to Americans versus commies in Hollywood. We were just good Americans and we demanded the right to speak our minds. After all, the communists in Hollywood were speaking theirs. Sounds similar to the point that JLP makes. They speak their minds, we speak ours. Nice. Apparently, John Wayne played a soldier at one point. Maybe multiple points. This is a quote purportedly from BBC. Well, John Wayne in a BBC interview. BBC being the British outlet, okay? The British outlet. Enemies of America, enemies of Britain now. Liberal media. But anyway, he was interviewed and he stated, quote, "We are being represented by men who are kowtowing to minorities." And this is in 1976, where they can get votes. Minorities where they can get votes. And I think it's bad for our country. And I'm sad to see minorities make so much of themselves as a hyphenated American. Wow, in the mid-70s, he was talking like this. LOL, J. Hake, he wasn't a Christian, he was a Freemason, says Skip McBurney. Didn't you have to be a Christian or some type of religious person to be in the Freemasons? I don't know, man. Maybe. Were the Freemasons... I don't know anything about the Freemasons. I still got to watch the Freemason episode of The Fallen State. But these are great quotes regardless, Skip. What are you? Anyway, John Wayne stated, here's another one, in his traditional cowboy gear that I've seen him in all the time. "I don't feel like we did wrong in taking this country away from them." Sounds like he's referring to the American Indians. "There were great numbers of people who needed new land, and the Indians were selfishly trying to keep it for themselves." Nice. Great point. Isn't it nice to hear another view? Not just this, oh, stolen land. Oh, we did genocide. Stupid. Anyway, here's another one. And I shared this one yesterday. "Life is hard. It's harder if you're stupid." And then one more. "Very few liberals are open-minded." John Wayne in front of the American flag. "They shoot you down," they being liberals, meaning communists, "and won't let you speak unless you agree with them." Great quote, and true. And it's truer today than even when he was around. Really, truly. So right on to John Wayne. I'm beginning to think that those what were those called that Skip said that he was? Freemasons? Who were Freemasons? John Wayne and George Washington. I'll take the Freemasons over what we have today. At least those two. Am I right? I think even Skip might agree with me on that. Anyway, some call these people controlled opposition. I don't think so of John Wayne. So right on, John Wayne, thank you. And here's another person who has passed on before I get to calls. Bell Hooks. This woman, I just kind of roll my eyes. The far-left female-run outlet, this Skim, reports, who will be missed? Bell Hooks. B-E-L-L. All lowercase letters. She didn't capitalize... Well, this is not her real name, right? This is a pen name. I don't think she legally changed her name, but people referred to her as Bell Hooks. And H-O-O-K-S is the last name of this pen name. And she named herself, I told you in Hake News today on the Jesse Lee Peterson Show, I do Hake News segments at the end of the first 2 hours, that she changed her name or used this pen name as a tribute to her maternal great-grandmother. So she took her mother's grandmother's name, which is Bell something Hooks. Oh, he converted to Catholicism. His grandson is a priest, says Eileen. Fact. Thank you. Freemasons make you denounce all religions at a certain level, claims Kevin Howe. Masons are Lucifer's foot soldiers. I mean... Aren't we all? Anyway, until we repent. But whatever. Thank you, guys. Teach me. But this bell hooks woman, Gloria Jean Watkins was her real name. Isn't that a nicer name? And she was born in Kentucky. Somebody told me that the blacks in Kentucky, they're not those polite Southern blacks necessarily that you hear about. Hardworking, Christian, independent thinking. I think that's long gone for the most part. Such a shame. But Gloria Jean Watkins, code name Bell Hooks. Code name. I make it sound cool. It's not. Pen name Bell Hooks, because she's a writer. The acclaimed author, poet, feminist. I have pictures of this woman, by the way. Brace yourselves. Author, poet, feminist behind the pen name Bell Hooks, Gloria Jean Watkins. Look at this woman. Oh, yikes. What did she do to her hair? It looks like there's a spider, dead spider legs, big old legs on her hair coming out of her head. Man, she looks like a prisoner. There's males who look more ladylike than this. And they have this same hair too nowadays. Embarrassing. There she is looking up. I think that's her as a young little girl or a young lady. Yeah, she has an afro, but she still looks ladylike. She looks like a woman, young lady, or maybe even a girl. I'm not sure. But now look at that. Oh, and she's gone now. Rest in peace, Bell Hooks. Look at that. Oh my gosh. What I'm describing is what would you call it? Oh man. Yikes. Baggy t-shirt, tall hair, all curly. Which that part's fine, I guess. But it's not right. Died at her home in Kentucky. 69-year-old is now dead. Wrote around 40 books, including Ain't I a Woman? Black Women and Feminism. And All About Love that explored race, feminism, and capitalism. So she was a communist, I'm assuming. Because feminism is a communist ideology. Man, she looked rough. And she did not help herself by having that nasty political statement of hair, right? Shameful. Just all like dreadlocks, but she only had like 1, 2, 3, 4, like 8. Like a spider. Maybe less, maybe more. Tributes poured in from across the literary world with Ibram X. Kendi. That's the guy who wrote Anti-Racist Baby and How to Be an Anti-Racist Evil Person. Scum of the earth. Saying the loss hurts deeply. And Roxane Gay, who I don't think is morally straight. I've seen her on Tumblr, which is not a morally straight platform. It's dominated by females, and it turns little girls into transgenders, or it convinces them, some of them. A bunch of immoral women and female-minded liberal communist males. And speaking of communists, if you look at the other pictures of her, she's standing alongside that communist enemy of America, Cornel West. Sick person. Gloria Steinem. Gloria Steinem, the feminist, I almost said white feminist, but I don't think she's Christian white. That's not like a normal white. There's Cornel West with more girly hair than she has. Like they should swap hair. No, neither. They should both ditch it and start over. Cornel West. What a joke. There she's with there's Gloria Steinem. I think she's probably like Jewish is my guess. I think she's Jewish, right? Gloria Steinem. Another one, Darnell Moore. Darnell Moore, if I'm not mistaken, he was kind of alongside those radical fat black lesbian feminists who started Black Lives Matter. If this is the same guy that I'm thinking, not morally straight, if you catch my drift. Morally straight is a term that I learned from reading about media reports from the attacked group known as Boy Scouts. What a shame. Anyway, there's this one rough-looking picture. Looking rough. Bell hooks looking rough. Could you just show that one? Yikes. Yikes. It's at the very bottom. Looking rough. Bell hooks looking rough. I have to show it to you guys. I have to point it out because yikes. Oh, no, that one too. Yeah. Oh, man. No, this one was... I thought that was... I saw this in the Odyssey chat, on the Jesse Lee Peterson Odyssey. That is a picture. That's not her. That's not Bell hooks looking rough. But that's in the main folder. Yeah, there she is. But what you just saw, if you were watching the video feed, I was like, is that Bell hooks? But no, that's supposed to be a mashup of... go back to The Prisoner. Man, these are horrible looking people. A mashup of Whoopi Goldberg and the Waukesha terrorist, black terrorist, who ran over those whites, innocent whites, at a Christmas parade some weeks back now, and we haven't heard a thing about it in the mainstream media since, really. I learned about bell hooks back in 2013 because she appeared alongside Melissa Harris Perry, who was an MSLSD host back at the time, and they appeared at she had a residency at the New School, which is in New York College. Horrific things being propped up in the world. It is so sick. Did you hear what they did to Derek Chauvin? Man, they're just piling on that guy, the former cop. I call him a hero. I could be mistaken, but he's certainly not a murderer. What a shame. Anyway, let me get to some calls, guys. There is one line open. You can call in 888-775-3773. I look up at the monitor to make sure I'm pointing at the right place. Let me get to Solomon in California. Solomon, how are you?
Hey, what's going on, Hake? How you doing?
Doing fine. Thank you, sir.
Well, Jesse always asks the question, when are white people going to wake up? And they already are waking up, but it's just not out, in public view. There's a growing underground movement of white people that are embracing their culture, that are going back to their European roots and embracing the accomplishments of their ancestors. For me, I'm proud of the fact that my ancestors came here and drove off the Indians and conquered the land and made this the greatest country in the world. And now the whole third world wants to come here, and they come here and they enjoy the privileges of living in a first world country, and then not all of them, but a lot of them end up hating the culture. They end up spitting on our culture.
Right.
And the way to do this, basically, is white people just have to stop buying into the Talmud visions propaganda that, that their ancestors, what they did was evil. Actually, it's an accomplishment. It used to be looked at as an accomplishment when your people can conquer a land for your people, And that's what they did. They came over here. And by the way, European people were here in America long before Christopher Columbus came.
True.
They had been all the great civilizations, the pyramids, it is proven it was built by people of European stock.
Really?
Those are facts. Oh, yeah. You got to study history, and you'll learn that a lot of the burial mounds and the pyramids, the evidences from the natives when Christopher Columbus and the Spaniards went over to Peru and all these other lands, the Aztecs, they looked at the European man, they called them bearded gods that had been there before and had built and showed them technology and the building the pyramids. So our people have done great things. And this is the thing. What white people have to do is they have to stop idolizing black culture. They have to stop idolizing hip-hop, which is a degenerate sodomite culture. And they have to go back to their European roots, embrace the music of their ancestors, embrace having a physically healthy lifestyle. The problem is you have too many people that, especially men, they want to sit on the couch eating potato chips, drinking beer, and watch football games all day. Instead, they need to get in the gym, work out,
or exercise at home nowadays. Forget the gym. They want you vaccinated. But anyway, yeah, I get your point.
Yeah,
for sure.
And we have to, and there's nothing wrong with being pro-white. It doesn't mean you're anti-anything else, just like there's nothing wrong with being pro-black. Black people should be pro-black, but in a positive way, to build up their communities, to build up the morality of their families and show their kids family values, which has been lost in a lot of the communities, whether you're white, black, mestizo.
Yeah.
White people are waking up, trust me. But it's just not, they're not joining Proud Boys. They're not wearing MAGA hats because they're
Some
not
of them
about
are.
that. Yeah.
Some of them are. But yeah, I take your point. I appreciate that, man. Good to hear from you. Wow, Solomon. Merry Christmas to you.
Hake.
Appreciate
Merry Christmas,
you, man.
Happy Advent.
Happy what?
Happy Advent.
Advent.
It's the Advent of our Lord Jesus Christ, his virgin birth.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard of
Latin
Advent.
for appearing.
Say what? Say again.
Advent is a Latin word for the appearance, like a glorious appearing.
Right.
So that's, yeah.
Nice, man. Well, I hope to see you again.
My Advent wreath.
Say again.
I have an Advent wreath in my home.
Nice.
Look it up. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Solomon is your born given name, right?
Well, it's my Christian name, yeah.
Okay. All right.
That's my Christian name, and I love, I'm a Christian, and I believe in the Bible, and I believe in the morality, and a lot of our countries in the West were founded on biblical principles. And it is going to return. We're going to win. It's not going to be a rapture, but it's going to be God raising up a people that are going to take back this country, because strategy without force is useless. And I think we are headed for a civil war.
I don't know, man. I would keep it a wait and see.
Yeah, you got to.
But
Yeah,
you do have to be fit, because trying times are upon many. Just look at what Derek Chauvin is going through. Thank God that he is a cop and fit, so that he can handle the toughness of prison, hopefully. And hopefully he will stay healthy and come out a better man in 21 years or however long it takes, really. It's so evil. But I don't know. I wouldn't assume that we are headed for civil war or not. This awakening that you're talking about, there is an awakening across the board, and a lot of it is spiritual, which you didn't mention, but I think that you're on board with.
The spiritual affects the physical, because God gave us bodies and he gave men strength. And the thing is, I'm 47 years old, Hake, but guess what? I'm close to my peak physical condition. I'm lifting more my leg press than I ever lifted, even when I played semi-pro football. My bench press is getting to its peak. I'm doing burpees. I'm doing prison workouts. My mind is sharp. My pick is sharp. My will is outstanding.
Yeah. And
I don't want to hurt nobody, but I am to defend my own, guaranteed.
Slight correction, which I should have known this. I think I knew this. Asador says, Chauvin will be in solitary confinement. All cops in prison are kept in solitary. Well, hopefully he handles it better than Reality Winner did, who that see a white woman mentioned by Jesse Lee Peterson. I don't know if you caught church with Jesse Lee Peterson. Reality Winner was a leaker, anti-Trump leaker, daughter of a couple of hippies apparently, and she became addicted to drugs in prison and cutting herself in prison because she couldn't handle it. I wish Chauvin well, and I wish all the January 6th peaceful protesters well, and those who got a little out of hand well.
I've never been to prison, but I've been to jail.
Okay. Yeah.
Prison is warrior school, from what I heard. I have a friend who's been in prison. It's warrior school. You better be there. You better be ready to go to war when you're in prison.
Yeah, I've heard about stuff too. I've heard stories. Well, thank you, Solomon. I appreciate you, man. Take care.
Love you, Hake.
Thank you. All right. Some super chats, guys. Let me read some super chats before I get to more calls and stories. Let me first read. Okay. Based America First, speaking of Chauvin, states Chauvin pleads guilty in federal civil rights case. So-called civil rights, meaning totally fake. Commie news media is promoting it as if he pleaded guilty to murder. Yeah, true. Will your usual suspects call in to gloat, clearly demonstrating that they do not understand the case? It's a plea deal and nothing more. A plea deal to keep him out of life in prison, to keep him to 20 to 25 years. Speculation from Based America First. He calls it speculation. In a super chat on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. Chauvin is possibly taking the fall to help his coworkers. You mean the ones who are charged? They're charged too, right? Oh my gosh. He may serve 6 to 12 months in a safer federal prison, then be out on supervised release, never to return. Really? Really? Well, boy, that would be better. Prosecutors get what they want, not justice. Public memory is short. Man, I mean, yeah, good points, Based America First. I appreciate you. Great points. Danimal gave a super chat and stated, Hake and Cosby for Prez and Vice President 2024. Oh my gosh. Bill Cosby for Vice President or President? Oh man, I don't think I would choose Bill Cosby for Vice President. I don't know if I would choose him for anything. Honestly, that guy is a little bit, kind of hates white people. Is that fair to say? I mean, he believes in the racism thing. That's what I mean. That's my point when I say that. Because he's all, this is about attacking the black man. No, it's attacking men. The attack on the white men is way worse, man. The heck. But anyway, I do appreciate Bill Cosby for having some respect for other people. Keep your stuff private. Lin Yan Chin with the super chat. All thoughts are lies. The quote, all thoughts are lies, frequently stated by the host of the show before mine, Jesse Lee Peterson, means all thoughts are imagination about reality. Wow. That no thought is reality itself, or imagination would be God. We aren't God, and our minds are flawed, imperfect. You say that again. Thank you, Lin Yan Chen. Lord, excuse me, Bibby42 with a super chat. Day 2 of the Sideburns, Hake. Can you make it all the way to January 15th, 2022? Wear them proud, James. I got them. You see it? I don't know if you can see it at all. What a mess. You know, I shave in the shower, so I just go by feel, right? I'm like covering the dirt under my chin, under my lip with my finger and just shaving alongside the side of my finger. And I slipped and messed up on one side. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to start using a mirror. Somebody said, use a mirror, man. But thank you, Lord Bibby42. Appreciate that. It's a challenge. Or he wants to donate $100 if I do this till January 15th. At first he said 6 weeks, and then he cut me some slack. That's nice. Lin Yan Chin, so now he's just giving me a month. Lin Yan Chin states, imperfection is why imagination is born and spins without traction as it tries to grasp reality instead of settling in realization that it is not God. All thoughts are lies, also known as imagination, posed as reality, also known as truth, posing as truth. Facts are just useful fiction, lies. Interesting. Facts are not truth. I have a t-shirt in the Hake Report Teespring store. Facts are not true. Hake looks weird from the side, says Tom New. Yeah, whatever, man. You got to get used to it. Put it that way. One more set of super chats. I saw some come in on the over here on Odyssey. Azdor states, John Wayne wasn't particularly religious for most of his life. Most men aren't, honestly. At least they weren't in those days. But converted to Catholicism in his old age. I guess that's respectable. If he was a respectable Catholic, which I assume that he was. Skip's problem that he's long on mouth and short on ears. Nice. That's funny. Your girlfriend gave a super chat on Odyssey and gave a couple of emojis, the bell emoji and the hook emoji, and put an S at the end for bell hooks. Were you a fellow fan? No, I'm playing. I wasn't particularly a fan at all. Some people are talking about the what are those people called? The Masons? Freemasons? Taking care of business says, I don't think I've seen a Masonic lodge have any cars in it ever, but somehow they keep the lights on. They meet a few times a month, generally just a club for local businessmen and good old boys. John Wayne's nickname was the Duke. Yeah. If we had more white men around like John Wayne, we'd be in a lot better position, states Uncle Ted 88. The longest day, he says, was a great John Wayne World War II movie, one of his favorites. Nice. Red River, Taking Care of Business Bears, favorite John Wayne movie. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate that. Nice to read your super chats. Anyway, Skip is laughing. Nice. Before I get back to calls, I'm coming to Black Stepdad next. Hang tight, sir. ADL is so evil. This is not news to any of you, right? Really? ADL, Anti-Defamation League, which is a total lie. These people are such liars. Were they ever not liars? I don't think so. I don't think they ever were. And they may be worse today than they ever were, and you know who else is evil? George Soros. And so, too, are Bay Area progressives. So this is not just about the ADL, but the ADL, Anti-Defamation League, they make their business defaming whites, Christians, men. It's ridiculous. They pretend to protect Jewish people from defamation, when in reality, they only increase resentment against Jewish people because they're so hate-filled. Anyway, the ADL tweeted, I think just yesterday, as we have told Fox News numerous times, casting a Jewish individual, and they're referring to George Soros, as a puppet master who manipulates national events for malign purposes, conjures up long-standing anti-Semitic tropes about Jewish power. I wonder how those tropes came about. Maybe there's some truth to them. And contributes to the normalization of anti-Semitism. And there's no such thing as that. Just don't hate. This needs to be removed. And so they're calling for Fox News on Instagram. It's an Instagram post of that guy Bronco. You've probably seen his political cartoons before. Bronco, Branco, I think, is the name of this. Could you zoom in on that little political cartoon IG post? I'm surprised that Fox News posted this, to be honest. George Soros behind the wall, showing some Democrat DAs and Democrat AGs, DAs being district attorneys, prosecutors, local prosecutors, and AGs, attorneys general of states. The DAs want to defund the police. The attorneys general want to get rid of cash bail. Bronco is part of the Americans for Limited Government creators, 2021 creators. And then so Democrat are donkeys, right? The donkey are the Democrats' animals. And so George Soros' money is controlling them. And so Democrat DAs plus Democrat AGs equals lawlessness and crime and mess. And they call him the puppet master. And so Daily Beast claims, or Daily Beast reports, enemies of America, Daily Beast, puppet mastered by others. Fox News deletes a George Soros puppet master cartoon after the ADL calls out anti-Semitism. Stupid. And then so in response to the ADL's tweet, I think that the ADL probably got, I'm assuming, but I'm not sure, Fox News is a satanic organization, states everything is fake. The woman run. I think that they got what's called, even on Twitter, what's called ratioed. I think. I'm not sure. Because a whole lot of people, normally Twitter promotes replies that are liberals. They just do. If you look at the replies and you study all of the replies, the majority of the replies, I think, might be sort of conservative, but they promote the liberal ones. But in this one, oh my gosh, most of them are people are like, that's not anti-Semitism. You're stupid. I'm even Jewish, and I'm not for that. A bunch of people saying that stuff. And one of them shared a PBS NPR article called Why, WHYY, must be a local station, from 2017. Here's this headline. Soros put nearly $1.7 million in the Philly DA's race. Philadelphia DA, District Attorney. Billionaire George Soros put even more money into supporting the winning campaign of Larry Krasner for Philadelphia District Attorney. Philadelphia is where this is supposed to be the city of brotherly love, but not true. Whole lot of black violent crime. I may talk about black crime because it just occurred to me last night that I think I may have been misled by one of our callers, Joe from Phoenix, because I never really questioned his claim that 1.06% or 1.05%, less than 2% of blacks commit violent crime. It's a tiny percentage. I question whether even that percentage is tiny. More than 1 in 100? You take 100 blacks and more than 1 in 100 are violent? Whoa, that's a lot. But it may be even more than that, but I'll get to that later. Final campaign reports show Soros dropped another $211,000 late in the game, bringing his total spending on behalf of this Krasner guy to nearly $1.7 million. For some perspective, that's more than 5 times as much as Krasner himself spent. This Larry Krasner, Philadelphia District Attorney, progressive DA. This has been covered by Tucker Carlson and others, and they hated when he covers it. Nearly 30% of all the spending in the 7-candidate primary, Soros donated. George Soros. I think he's a Jewish atheist, if I'm not mistaken. He has backed, he's supported Black Lives Matter, scum of the earth, and he's old enough to know better. So he's pure evil, liar. I've heard him talk. He just sounds like a dumb SJW. But he's pushing that mess. Soros has backed district attorney candidates in other cities that support his criminal justice agenda. David Thornburg, president of the Watchdog Group Committee for Safe 70. I don't know what that group is, but he said that all outside money in a Philadelphia race makes him uneasy. I have a general and growing concern about how we seem to be nationalizing local elections, Thornburger said in an interview. You know, these independent expenditures flowing from elsewhere are kind of exhibit A about how that's playing out. And if this continues, it starts to feel like Philadelphians lose control of their own elections. Yeah. And Philadelphians are a lot of dummies anyway, too, by the way, because Krasner didn't win just on the strength of, because it's not just money, it's dumb idiot voters who vote for it. No matter how much money is spent on Gascon, I'm not going to vote for Gascon, okay? But some suckers will. But he had broad support among Philadelphia progressive community and labor groups. He was reelected in 2021, says Nick. Wow. Yeah. So, fast forward to 2020, Los Angeles Slimes. Los Angeles. Soros the puppet master. And it's not just Soros. Evil people. This is from the Los Angeles Slimes in November 3rd of last year, 2020. LA County District Attorney race. Who are the top donors? So it was incumbent black female Democrat Jackie Lacey. I voted for her. Can you believe it? I voted for a black female Democrat incumbent, Jackie Lacey. She was the first black female. I did not vote for her back then, okay? I did not vote for her back then. But I voted for her this time because she was up against a Black Lives Matter endorsed George Gascon. You had only two options. Her husband is the one who pointed the gun at Black Lives Matter on her porch, on their porch. Black Lives Matter were showing up on her porch, their porch. The husband's porch too, right? How embarrassing. Your wife is a district attorney and you're just a whatever you are, husband. But he pointed a Glock at the protesters. I think it was a Glock. Look at these. Look at this headline from Los Angeles Slimes. Democrat Jackie Lacey, she raised like $7 million versus challenger George Gascon, who looks like he's white, but he's a Cuban and he's a communist. And I think he used to be a Republican, but he's a total scumbag today. Never trust those Cuban Republicans. No, I don't know. But I don't trust the Republicans like Rubio or Cruz, Ted Cruz. He raised $12.4 million, mostly from George Soros, $2.25 million. If you go to the next one, I think it shows how much. Oh, no, if you go to the next one, it shows how much she raised. The next picture, screenshot of this LA Slimes article. It shows Jackie Lacey raised a bunch of money from basically like police, law enforcement unions, which I'm not in favor of unions, but law enforcement unions, I'll take those over the communists any day. Some of them are probably communists, but not as bad as these people. Ridiculous. And he raised, so 73% are from law enforcement unions of her cash. 50-something% of his, the communist guys, from wealthy individuals. George Soros, look at the next one. George Soros, $2.25 million. And it's not just him. Bunch of women donated millions of dollars. Patty Quillen, the Netflix CEO, Reed Hastings' wife, and she's also a philanthropist. Patty Quillen, she donated $1.6+ million to this evil person. Money comes from progressives based in the Bay Area with ties to tech companies such as Netflix, Facebook, Instagram, and Google. Because George Gascon spent some time up there. What is he? Never mind, I don't want to go there. Elizabeth Simon, $785,000. Reed Hastings, the Netflix CEO, donated to this Black Lives Matter candidate $500,000. He and his wife donated more than $2 million between them. Bunch of other individuals, including from Future Justice Fund, which is fake, and a female board member of Urgent Action Fund for Women's Human Rights, obviously fake, donated to this George Gascon guy who's overseeing crime go out of control today and a year later. New York Slime says when he was sworn in, he spoke in Spanish. His first language is the George Gascon guy. Cuban, communist, Black Lives Matter endorsed by Patrisse Cullors herself, who ran away from Jesse Lee Peterson, a communist, anti-capitalist. Reminds me of a female Mr. Sandman. No, I'm playing Mr. Sandman. I don't think you're as bad as these people. He's spoken in Spanish to honor his mother, who fled from Fidel Castro's communist rule. Should have stayed there because you're bringing it here now. When he was 13, he said, being arrested is traumatic and dehumanizing. No, it's not. Our rush to incarcerate generations of kids of color, Gascon said when he was sworn in, has torn apart the social fabric of our communities. What a woman. Am I right? I'm going to get to other evil people who are taking over, but let me finally get to Black Stepdad, who wants to comment on a caller's ideas from yesterday. Black Stepdad, thank you for holding, man. How are you doing?
Hey, what's up? Hey, happy birthday, brother.
Thank you, sir. I turned 40 just on July 17th. It's December 16th, and it's sinking in. Appreciate it.
You're about as old as one of my brothers. I'm 34.
Okay.
And one of my brothers is they're about the 40s. So you're like a brother to me, brother.
Nice. Right on.
Yeah, like I said, I wanted to chime in on what I think it was Jeremiah, right? That said that do you believe in unity?
Yeah, Jeremiah said that he believes in what he called national unity, which by nation he means race, because nations are usually made up of distinct like races, right? Or nations, peoples. Like the Irish were a nation. Now they're two, and they're scattered and they're ridiculous. And the Indians, American Indians, some of them are different, distinct nations. And he thinks that he's an Israelite, so he believes in the Israelite unity. And he thinks that the Israelites are a nation. So he's all, but that's what he means, like unity with
your people, we'll say.
Yeah, exactly. Above the truth, apparently. I mean, I didn't get into it with him because he was at the very end and I only gave him a minute. But yeah.
Yeah, but like what I wanted to say is like me, I'm a Mexican American. I'm a brown man.
Uh-huh.
And you know, like I'm not going to side with the ones that are coming here illegally. I'm not going to side with the ones that are out there on the street selling flowers and selling oranges off the freeway. Like if they're doing bad and they're being dumb, I'm not going to just automatically unite with them. Like, no, bro, you're acting stupid.
Yeah.
You know, like that's what I don't get. Like, and then like these fools, the blacks, they need to understand that people of color can look to this country as a broken barrier because white people fought for their freedom, you know.
Yeah.
You know, white people saw them as an equal and said, you know what, yeah, you guys are right. You guys have just as much rights as we do, and this and that. Which pretty much is saying that like if the blacks can do it, anybody else can do it. Instead of hating on the white man, they should just appreciate them like how you guys say, which I get.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of truth to that, man. Very true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I got to get back to work, bro.
I appreciate it, Black Stepdad. Good call. Take care.
All right, man.
All right. Bye. Yeah, you should love what's right. And that's that feeds into your love for your fellow whites or fellow blacks or fellow whatevers. And your love for everyone. Nice. Let me get to Robert in Kansas. Robert, how are you doing, sir?
Oh, hey.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
You sound a little far away. Come closer.
All right, man.
Better.
How about? Okay.
Yep.
So, yeah, man. What's that thing on your face there, Hake?
I don't know what to call it because I don't like the common terms for it.
Do you?
It's
do you
hair.
Consider it,
it's hair and whiskers. Huh?
Do you consider that morally straight?
Yes, because I am.
I don't know, man. It seems kind of like a signal.
No, man. What the heck? Anyway.
When you gonna shave that hair, like the whole thing up top and everything? When you gonna shave all that?
You know, I don't know if I would ever do that.
Yeah. Hold on.
None of my. It's not. Well, whatever. You can call it ego. I guess there's some ego to it. But none of my father, my grandfathers, my uncles, none of them ever shaved their heads like that. So it doesn't even. I don't think that that's necessarily ego. Couldn't it be considered ego to shave it?
Yeah, I guess it could. Hey, you had a caller named David, an 18-year-old. Do you remember that caller?
Just this week, maybe so.
Yeah,
I talked at length with him.
Yeah, you were leading the young man down the wrong path for like 20 minutes, so I needed to call in, and I hope David's listening.
Because he thinks that he asked if Jesus is a socialist.
Well, there's lots of things. I mean, the nuts and bolts things that I heard initially, Hake, was you were saying that don't get business debt, versus personal debt. And I want to say to David that Hake is an art major, okay? And do not listen to him about anything having to do with money or business or anything like that, okay?
Pretty funny.
Business debt, if anything, is what you want. and any sort of personal debt's what you want to stay away from. So, just from someone who studied business, the sort of debt you want would be business debt, young man. If you can, if you're able to get business debt, that's the best kind. But and a lot of other things too, right? Hey, like the socialist thing about Jesus. You want to talk about that?
Well, you called in and the topic states Jesus and socialism.
Okay. So, he was saying that his family was saying things, right, about Jesus was this or that.
A communist.
And I think you said definitively that Jesus was a capitalist. Are you gonna stick with that, Hake?
I'm sticking with that.
Oh man. Okay. So
he was a carpenter. All carpenters are capitalists.
Well, he certainly produced value and built things in his life, as everyone should do, But, hey, there's things that it's obvious, right, in terms of not a capitalist. He literally flipped over tables of money changers. Maybe the primary reason he was killed. He said
inside of the church, inside of the temple. That's not anti-capitalist. The heck?
Well, okay, so he said
it's just in the wrong place where these immoral people were. You can't have capitalism without morality.
Well,
so what we have today is not capitalism.
Okay, you're interrupting me. I'll be quiet for a minute.
I'm done.
Okay, he said you cannot serve God and mammon. It's like the only...
Socialism is mammon. Serving mammon.
Mammon is wealth
right.
or money.
Yep.
Right, it's money.
And that's what socialism is, serving wealth and money.
Capitalism is literally capitalism, hey?
No, capitalism is not serving money. Capitalism is making yourself valuable and exchanging things of value with one another. That's what capitalism is.
Well,
it's not serving money. Capitalism isn't serving money. The stuff that we have right now is not capitalism. So I think you have a misunderstanding. You shouldn't be basing your knowledge on business school, man. What happened to you? You should know better than this.
I base my understanding of economics and business on my schooling. Yes, I didn't study art, so if you want to tell me about art, I'll listen.
No, because you're relying on college, which makes you stupid.
Well, college.
I'm stupid with regard to art.
Well, college makes you stupid because they lie to you, but there's also information and research you do in college that can lead you in any direction it leads you. So, I obviously understand capitalism from my schooling, right? Hey,
that's not obvious. You don't understand capitalism from your schooling.
Well, what you're saying is that we're not a capitalist country now, right? You're
Correct.
saying that we're something else.
We are a socialist communist country.
Socialist communist. So when did we flip from capitalism to that?
Maybe around the second the war of northern aggression. The so-called Civil War. It might have been around that time. I'm not sure.
Okay. Hey, well, yeah, that makes sense in the sense of the capitalist communist aspect of central banking, right? Because you get to central banking and taxation, and then you get to that's the connection to capitalism, the taxation on your land and labor, right? Where you don't actually own your land and labor, right? So there is a connection for capitalism and communism, right?
It's a stepping stone.
Well, one of them denies God completely, right? That's communism. They say there is no God, meaning that government is God.
Right.
And then capitalism says there is a God, it's Satan, and we serve Mammon and Satan.
Yeah, you don't know what capitalism is. You were misled in school.
No, what we're seeing in America is the fruits of capitalism. When you have
the fruits of capitalism without God, which there is no such thing.
Well, the God of capitalism, like it says on the money, it says, "In God we trust." These people do have a God, Hake, and it's not thine creator, right? It's the God of this world. So that's who they worship. It's obvious, man. I mean, they put it everywhere if you know how to see the symbols.
So are you
But-
saying that Jesus was a socialist?
Well, essentially, in a sense, am I saying that he's like a Bernie Sanders?
No.
socialist?
Are you saying Jesus was a socialist? I don't have a lot of time, man.
What I'm saying is, if you look at
I need a yes or no from you. Let your yes be yes and your no, no. Is
Well, I'm
Jesus a
saying he
socialist?
He basically got killed for going against capitalism and the money men, right?
So
And so if
is
you think
Jesus a socialist?
I would say essentially, in a broad sense of the word, yes, Hake. In terms of what you mean by that, do you mean
Intellectuals.
tax the human person, to tax the working man?
Intellectuals are nutcases. What a mess, man.
You think I'm nuts for this?
You
Hake?
need prayer.
I just want.
No, I think you're nuts because you're so wordy, man, and you come up with the craziest ideas. But I appreciate it, Robert. Very interesting. So take it for what it's worth, David, 18-year-old. I don't necessarily know what I'm talking about. I could definitely be wrong. But so are your family, David, in
you're
Canada.
not. Listen, Hake, for 1 second. You're not wrong in a lot of the ways that you talk about the things you talk about, Hake, in terms of free market the things you talk about creating value for the marketplace, and that's how you are of value. Listen, Hake,
that's
you're
why
not wrong
I'm kind of
about
stubborn. I
market.
define things differently from how the world falsely defines them.
And that's a lot of the problem that we have is if I say socialism, and you're like, well, that's like, are you AOC
I understand.
or Bernie Sanders?
Right.
Then you're going to think of me as something way different than what I'm talking about.
But
Just
those
like
are
when
not the
you're
only
talking about-
socialists.
Yeah, well, they're
Yeah.
not. It's hard.
Trump
it would
is
take a
somewhat
lot to be
socialist.
Here, right? Do what now?
I said Trump is somewhat socialist.
Hey, Trump, the man down there. I wish that Trump would turn a corner and come out against some of the stuff he's saying, man. But he just keeps going with the narrative, bro.
Oh no, he's doing. I think he's doing right. He's said no mandates, or whatever. Anyway, man, I really appreciate it, Robert. Lines are full. We're coming up to the end of the hour, and I gotta go.
All right. Hey, goodbye. Thanks for the chat. And tell David, research flat Earth, fake space, and then the fake evolution narrative, and he'll really find out the how they're hiding God from us in terms of becoming a devout Christian.
I think looking within is more important than researching flat Earth and fake space. But thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Have a good day. Bye.
You as well. Take care. One line open, guys. 888-775-3773. I will get to more of your calls. That sparked some calls who want to talk about capitalism and Jesus and socialism. And hey, I have my favorite caller on the line. Stay tuned, guys. Let me quickly read a couple of super chats here. Asmodor says, America is now a socialist anarcho-corporatocracy. Yeah. I call it commie capitalist, but this may be more accurate. I call it commie capitalist because if you look at the big companies, and maybe even many of the small ones, look at what they're promoting. They're in bed with the same establishment, anti-Trump, anti-you, pretending to be on the minority side, promoting Black Lives Matter and LGBT and feminism. Those are all communist ideals, which are not ideals at all. Your girlfriend with a super chat, and some people are criticizing her for this because it's going to spark some mess. Your girlfriend with a super chat on Odyssey, what is the purpose of Freemasonry and what are the perks when ranking up? I don't know the answers to that question. You might watch The Fallen State with that old guy who was a Freemason, or he is, I think, if he's still alive. He was interviewed by Jesse Lee Peterson, and that may not be a complete picture, but it may give you a little bit of an idea. You may know, your girlfriend. You may know the answer to your question, but I appreciate it. Maybe somebody in the chat will tell me too. Uncle Ted 88 says, quotes or paraphrases the ADL, stating on Odyssey, if a billionaire is Jewish, you are not allowed to criticize how they use their money to achieve political goals. ADL. Yeah, the ADL, disgusting. Anti-American Disgusting League. That's what the ADL stands for. Ridiculous. Did I have any other super chats here? Just double check. It is 10 a.m. here in Los Angeles, and I am going to be getting to a, Asmodor says, prison and jail are not similar, referring to what Chauvin is going through versus, I think Solomon said he had. Jib Jab says, James looks like a serial killer on his PayPal photo. Yeah. Austin 3:16 states, capitalism puts profit and consumerism over the people and the environment. I understand your point. Same thing with socialism and communism. That's why we need morals. You can't have freedom, which is supposed to be what capitalism is, and responsibility without morality. Capitalism is functioning as an interactive network, exchanging one thing for another, where surplus is necessary, says Vladimir Vendeas. And you know, some of you guys may be cringing over my capitalism defense, but I do know that capitalism is, because of the increasing godlessness, is a stepping stone. Look at the dialectic. Look it up. Is a stepping stone to communism. So it's wrong. This path we're on is wrong. Michael Parkinson gave a super chat and asks, can you please ask Jesse, can someone born again take a human life in combat? Okay, interesting. I appreciate your request. I think he would say yes. I think he has answered this question. Alexandra gave a super chat. That scientist that I told you about yesterday was Charles Hatfield, a.k.a. the Rainmaker. The guy who artificially created rain, and then I think he was sued, or the government was sued, for making it rain uncontrollably somewhere, allegedly. Wikipedia says he was born in Kansas, but the book I have says Minnesota, and I need to correct, he wasn't sued by the city of San Diego, but they stiffed him after the flood. Okay. Thank you, Alexandra. Can we control the weather? According to information shared by her, if it is correct, human beings can. I don't know. Charles Hatfield, the Rainmaker. Guys, this is the top of the hour. It's 10:03 now already. And I have a Christmas song to share with you. I'm going to be playing Christmas songs, I think, until New Year. The New Year. So, don't get sick of it until the New Year. This is Sufjan Stevens. He's a liberal. Only at Christmas time, from Hark, Songs for Christmas. Something that he put out for his friends, and then it was later released. Only at Christmas time. Enjoy, guys. I'll be right back for hour 2.
2, 3, 4.
Only to bring you peace. Only at Christmas time. Only the King of Kings. Only what once was mine. It takes the end of time. It takes a long, long time. Only one thought of mine. Only at Christmas time. He brings us peace. He brings us joy. He brings all thoughts to destroy. Only at Christmas time. To bring us peace. To bring us joy. To bring all thoughts to destroy. Only at Christmas time. Only at Christmas.
Hello, guys. Was the music good volume? Oh, was I on air? Was I unmuted the whole time? Okay. Was the music good volume? Press 1 if the music was proper volume, loudness-wise. Press 2 if it was too loud. Press 3 if it was too quiet. I'm expecting there might be some 3s oftentimes. I just don't know. Haven't really had a big problem with it. Anyway. Thank you guys for bearing with me through that. Let me see if there are any interesting chats regarding the music. Hake actually got that right. It was the Civil War. Thank you, Kevin Howe. That's when we turned more communist. Yeah, I mean, that's when there were a lot of revolutions. How did you guys like the music? Hake, play some Clapton, man. As in Eric Clapton? I wonder how I would fare as far as copyright blocking and strikes and stuff. I'm not sure. I do get copyright flagged on all of these songs, believe it or not. Hey, let's listen to Hake's sensitive music, says Lord AO. Oh, man. But they don't block me. They just make money off of it, I think. Worst Christmas song ever, says Ashy Dog. Funny. Well, anyway, Charles Manson vibe, says Name. Whoa, you serious? I don't think that I've ever listened to Charles Manson, so I couldn't tell. I cannot confirm or deny. Emperor of Cats says that he has a Charles Manson CD. How am I not surprised? Hake, this sounds like okay. It's aight. Thank you, man. A soy Christmas. Soy, yeah. I know, it is soft. I don't like that soft, precious children's music, nicey nice, cutesy, fake stuff. 4 for Clapton, or 4 for press mute, please. Don't play it. Some say a little too quiet. Anyway, well, thank you guys bearing with me through that. Actually, I'm going to get to Art in Ohio. He's coming up next. But before I get to him, I want to present to you the female NYPD commissioner, black female NYPD commissioner, who was chosen by the mayor-elect, who's black, Democrat. Hopefully better than, who's that guy? Who's the socialist? Not a normal white, married to this black ex-lesbian, Bill de Blasio. Eric Adams is the incoming mayor, and he selected this Keechant Sewell. Sewell? Listen to this news report. I have a 2-part, and I clipped it up so it jumps around a little bit. From CBS New York, a report on Keechant, this woman, black woman, 49 years old, Keechant Sewell, introduced as the next New York Police Department commissioner. Listen to this.
We begin today with Mayor-elect Eric Adams delivering on a campaign promise to choose a woman of color to head up his police department.
Eric Adams started off looking for a female police commissioner of color.
I needed a visionary. I needed someone that was ready to transform our department.
I think my perspective is different. I bring a fresh set of eyes. We keep using the phrase emotional intelligence, but I think sometimes the first thing people say is women are a little sensitive. I think sensitivity is a strength.
Incoming Mayor Eric Adams, incoming Police Commissioner Keechant Sewell, embarking together on a journey to restore a city torn apart by COVID-19 and a pandemic wave of gun crimes, hate crimes, and robberies.
This is a real winner. We have a real winner.
She is not afraid to tackle hot-button issues. I asked her about a controversial program that dates back to the years of former Mayor Rudy Giuliani. I'm wondering how you feel about quality of life crimes and whether you think those crimes, broken windows crimes, should be enforced in the city as a way to bring the city back into prosperity.
I do. I think lower level crimes have to be enforced when it's appropriate, right? When they can be balanced with the needs of the public and the needs of the community.
She also said she supported strengthening the bail reform laws that have too often seen people committing crimes back on the street the same day they're arrested.
I think judges have to have the discretion to be able to keep dangerous people off the street. But it's really about a balance, right? We have to be able to balance what's important for the community and what's safe for the community.
Ridiculous. I don't buy her balance talk. That's what gives me pause. She said, at first she said, I do believe in broken windows policing, which was something that was brought in by the great, was he great? He's definitely better than these people. Mayor Rudy Giuliani of New York City. And he had broken windows policing. That's where they target the low-level crimes and don't put up with any mess. But now we're putting up with homeless bums urinating and worse, if you catch my drift, on the street. All disgusting. Setting up blight and drugs. So I guess Keechant. It's ridiculous. And when she's talking about balance, maybe she has to play that politics game. She sounds like a politician. I don't have high hopes. I'll just tell you that much. What a mess. Anyway, that's that for her. Replacing the white man. Meanwhile, Derek Chauvin rotting in a prison, right? Shameful. Let me quickly get to Art in Ohio. Before I get to other stuff, I have a fake hate crime to remind you about. Art, how are you doing?
I'm all right. How you doing, Hank?
Doing well. Thank you for holding.
The R says, slow your roll and shut your mouth. That's the old school rock back when I was a teenager or whatnot. That was one of my favorite wrestlers. Besides my first favorite wrestler at that time was Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Okay.
That was my main man. Yeah, but one dude who was calling about, he was saying that whites got here before Christopher Columbus, and I just basically want to know, because I ain't trying to act like a Mr. Know-It-All. You know, if I can learn something new, if I was taught some wrong information, then I take the good information and I replace it with the wrong information. So, you know, but if there is any whites or whatnot documented, then, I mean, I'd love to see anything that was showing that there was whites here before Christopher Columbus. Go ahead.
Well, I do know, I don't know what Solomon was talking about. Solomon, my first caller today, with regard to that. I've never, that's the first I've ever heard that. I have my doubts, but I have no idea. I do know that there was a guy who came here. The Vikings came here, right? I almost said Eric Liddell, who was the guy from Chariots of Fire. Leif Erikson, thank you, Chris. Leif Erikson showed up here, but I don't know if he came in and built the pyramids or the minarets or whatever those things were. Eric the Red, maybe Uncle Ted 88 says. He knows some history, I think.
Well, you got to think that voyage, you had to have money and you had to have ships that was big enough to be able to pass over the sea like that. You know what I mean? You talking about water that, I mean, it's like a one in probably, I mean, don't get me, I'm not trying to make it seem like I know it, but it's like, it's very slim chance that you just going to sail across the sea on a canoe or a small boat. I don't think that's just going to happen. Like it might be out of 100 people, it might be one. Right. You know what I mean? To make it. So, then second thing would be, you're going to have a language barrier. At that time, they wasn't seeing no white people, and they were savages. They were fighting amongst each other. So I don't think with that tribal culturalistic that it would have made sense for white people to have been able to even come on land. You see what I'm saying?
I think they could, because it was not all populated. It was not so densely populated as America is today. There was a lot of empty land. So yeah, I'm sure they had run-ins, but I think they had space to come in.
Well, what land are you talking about that wasn't populated?
Whole swaths of America. How many there are? What is it? 330 million people here in America right now. There were not 330 million American Indians. I'll tell you that much.
Well, I don't know the number, but
yeah, I'm just telling you that they weren't all over the place. They did have run-ins.
They were on the coast. They were more so on the coast.
But they didn't fully line the coast. That's my only point.
Well, they wouldn't have been more so towards in the inner America because they needed water and it wasn't too much water. You see what I'm saying? They try to tend to stay towards the coast because they farmed corn and stuff like that, and you need to have irrigation and stuff like that. And
from the
rivers, like America now. River. You know what I mean? It's not too many rivers that's cut all the way up and through America. Besides, I think the Mississippi that run all the way up here through Ohio too, and and a couple of other places. Long story short, and it's a language barrier, so I don't know about that. Second of all, the pyramids. He was talking about the pyramids. I still ain't heard no factual evidence or no blueprints on anybody that has any blueprints on no pyramids where they can build up any to this day or show how they were built. And the third thing is with the mounds or whatnot. We got a lot of mounds up here in Ohio, and allegedly, from what I was told, that the mounds are old Indian grave burial sites to where where a lot of the Indians were slaughtered. They just piled them up, and that's where a lot of the mounds come from, allegedly from up here. I don't know about how that works anywhere else or whatnot. But they won't let you build on the mounds or whatnot because you basically I think it's like a law where you can't disturb burial grounds or something like that. I don't know, something like that. And then my other thing is too, Richard Pryor had something where he was going back into the pyramids back in the day, and he was recording all the stuff and documented stuff on the people who built the pyramids. They wrote stories on the wall, and every time he would go back, it'd be stuff missing because it'd be people going in there destroying the walls and stuff. And I think they took a lot of them videos of Rich Pryor doing that up off of YouTube. Then another thing I was going to say is
Richard Pryor, the black comedian, right?
Yeah, I think when he was going through his little
drug addiction,
his little drug problem. Yeah, he was going over there to Egypt, and he was going into the pyramids. You're right, Hake. I think that was when it was.
All right.
You're right. But then I was going to say, I noticed something about, you know, I'm a fan of the white conservative man. You know what I mean? The God-fearing white man. You know what I mean?
Right on. Same here.
Yeah, I definitely have love white people and whatnot, just like I love myself and love this God-fearing people. It don't even matter what color you are. Long story short.
Yep.
I noticed something about America. I can't say one thing that I do agree with that first caller about that Civil War, because I think after a while, because I can already see it and how America is still playing this, they playing the pander game. Instead of telling the females and the gays or whatnot, you know, the gays, you need to stay in the closet and grow up. Everybody don't want to see, keep that mess in your house. We don't care about which, you know what I mean?
Yep.
If you want to wear fingernail polish, don't be crying like a little sissy when people laughing at you because you got fingernail polish on and you a boy. That's only natural if you, you know what I mean? And then with the females, how they pander. Go on, sorry.
Speaking of the transgenders and stuff, did you hear that story of this black woman who lost her son back in one young son back in 1990? She has others. And she's in her 60s today, and she got a CNN Hero of the Year award because she gives out free haircuts and hairdressing and beauty stuff. I don't even know if it's just haircuts. She gives fake eyelashes and wigs.
She a devil. She a witch.
To homeless people and especially transgenders. Did you hear about that?
You know that. I think I seen it on your show. She a witch. That's all it is.
She got $100,000 a award for that mess. So evil. That's CNN for you.
Well, that's a problem that I have with her, cause and I have a lot. I'm gonna try to say what I'm saying about her is that she say that I don't support gays or whatnot, and
she said that?
Make it seem like she got. Well, no, I'm not saying that's what she said. I'm just saying that with that liberal type and that witch mindset type, and she allegedly, females like that, they have kids by men. But what you supporting is going against your actions. You procreating, but what you pushing is going against the way that procreation is. Because if you have everybody out dressing like trans and boys thinking they girls, then Ain't no men like me gonna be trying to sleep with them. We not gonna be able to. Men can't have babies. You can't put a plug into a plug.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I got you.
You can't put a socket into a socket. You know what I mean? But,
know what you're saying. Yep.
And even with like I was telling my mom, like, you gotta be careful about what you watch or whatnot. You know what I mean? And I gave her an example about Tyler Perry, because she would be watching a lot of them Tyler Perry movies, and he'd be running around with a dress. And I'm like, well, what that is doing, he might not see nothing wrong with that, but somebody is sitting there watching that and they thinking that's cool, because when they go to school, they promoting the gay and the transgender stuff. When you look on TV, they promoting it. Then when you cut on the movies, they promoting. Then when you watch the sports, they promoting it. So I was telling my mom, that's the way that they cast the spells on people, is they putting it through the movies, the music, or whatnot, and even in the wording or whatnot. Just like I was watching something that you were saying, playing on one of your shows, where they were saying that it was the two dudes that adopted the 12-year-old boy that got the teacher fired because he said that she didn't agree with it.
Yep.
So if you noticed in one of the words, they were saying something about their pride. I'm proud, and my pride. He said something about his pride would makes him prideful that he did what he did as far as adopting the child. And it was like, well, why did you have to go through that? The kid have to go through that for you to come to the conclusion that I'm going to adopt this child? If you was truly doing it from the heart, you would have just adopted him from the jump. You wouldn't have had to go through, he got a woman fired, or a woman got fired because he said that he didn't agree.
Well,
and I'm saying that about the
minor correction, man. They were in the process of adopting him. I guess it takes a process. And so they had already decided to adopt this boy, and he was all, I'm gonna be adopted. I'm gonna have my two dads, and he was bragging in class about having two dads, which is inappropriate.
Yeah.
And so good for the substitute teacher for calling that out. I wonder if she was wrong. I don't know if she was wrong or right in the way that she went about it, because there's a right and wrong way to address evil. And
what point do you stand up though?
Yeah, of course. You got it. Good for her for standing up. I stand with her, because they didn't show any details. They didn't say her name, which I'm fine with, I guess. But this female principal walked her out and fired her, or sent her away, sent her home.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Well, the pride. Don't it say in the Bible that the pride comes before destruction?
Yep, and that's what they are.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying about with the females, and I'm going to get up off here because I've been on long enough. The pride comes before the destruction, because they have a lot of these females running these jobs and these businesses, and they don't know what the heck they're doing. They don't know what they're doing with the families. They don't know what they're doing with. So at a certain point, you can only keep throwing money at a car and throwing parts at it. But if you ain't addressing the actual problem, the car's still gonna be a hoopty, and it's still gonna putt when it's riding down the street.
Yeah,
because you ain't fixing the actual problem.
There was two little girls who got interviewed by the mainstream media after they stood up for that gay boy. I mean, not gay boy. The boy with the gay. Well, he might be the boy with the two gay fake fathers. The two little girls were like tattletaled on the substitute teacher, or maybe it was three girls. Shameful. And you talk about the women in charge. You saw that woman who's in charge of the NYPD. She's the commissioner now, and she talks about being sensitive is a strength. Emotional intelligence. Ridiculous.
Hey, these females are crazy.
Yeah.
And they pride comes before the destruction, because if anybody in their right mind, they couldn't even pay me as a man to want to take over and be in charge of New York. For the simple fact is that the liberals have made that such of a mess.
Right.
It's gonna be. I don't want the mess to fall up on me, and it's gonna make me look like I made it.
Yeah.
So basically, what I'm saying, she's walking into a S show, a poop show. You see you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's really a setup, because they already know. The people who was in position before and the higher ups that know what's going on, they already know what's going on with New York, and they know what's going on with America, and it's going and them the conservative, the God-fearing whites, and the God-fearing and conservative blacks, and this, if you a human or a man, or even a female that got a logical mind, you're going to have to come to a point to where you're going to have to call an ace, a spade, whether you a manager, you trying to do it because you want to be the manager, or you so-called want to be the vice president.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because after a while, it's getting to the point where it's going to get so far gone that you think you're going to be able to come back and try to clean and fix America back up. But America's looking like it's too far gone to do anything. And I mean, I'm staying positive, but
yeah,
you know what I mean?
We don't stop, though. We never give up. Appreciate you, Art.
No, we don't. I appreciate you, and just like you said the other day when I was watching, heck yeah, we still rolling with Trump. And that's
nice.
And you believe that because that's what Art said from Ohio.
Nice. Take care, Art.
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
you.
Yes, sir. Yep. God bless you.
You too. Guys, there's one line open. I will be getting to you, but quickly some super chats. Ledge Klinger with a super chat on odyssey.com, odyssee.com/@ the Hake Report. Hake, Ledge Klinger says, the solution to our nation's ills is clear. We must purge immoral people from our sweet, sweet United States. Some might say it'll be the last solution we ever need. Keep up the good work. Defend capitalism more. Thank you, man. I'm surprised that you like me defending capitalism. Well, I don't know if I'm surprised, but thank you, man. Yeah, deal with evil within yourself, and deal with evil out in the world. Don't close your eyes to evil. Deal with it. I don't know if we have to. Well, I don't know. But thank you, Ledge Klinger. Interesting super chat. Simon gave a super chat on streamlabs.com/the Hake Report. Hank, since you are the official homegrown Christian, I'm sure you will be able to solve this. Was Jesus born perfect or was he made perfect? Shout out to the official JLP Discord gang. Well, the Bible does say that he was made perfect, I think through his suffering. I think he was born innocent, which a lot of babies are born with this naive kind of innocence, and then they get worse throughout their life, but he got better through life. Nice. Better, not bitter, which is a t-shirt that you can find via the Bond Teespring, rebuildingtheman.com/stores. Daisy1350 with a super chat on Odyssey. Hake, will you be on cozy.tv? Is it true? I don't know, Daisy. I don't know. I had not heard that. But I do appreciate and shout out to cozy.tv. That's where I believe you can find multiple hosts, including Real Vincent James and Nicholas J. Fuentes, who are former guests or guests of the, have been guests of the Jesse Lee Peterson show. They've been interviewed. And on The Fallen State, really. So, some solid guys over there at Cozy TV. Taking care of business over there, and Asmodor and others are talking about the Vikings. Vikings arrived in America in 1021. Arrived in what is now Newfoundland, Canada, or Newfoundland. Well before Columbus, but Columbus stayed and did stuff. Alexandra states with a super chat, LOL. Laugh, lots of laughs if you like a hat tip to the great Colin Flaherty documents or has documented a lot of black on white, black on Asian, black on old, black on handicapped, black mob violence, black on others crime, black on one another crime. Thank you, Colin Flaherty. Without racism, without rancor, not that racism exists. And he calls Jesse Lee Peterson the most important man in America. Pray for the great Colin Flaherty. I haven't seen a lot of output from him, but I do see his Twitter feed from time to time. Wish him well. And Merry Christmas, all. Tyler Perry, says Alexandra, definitely hates black people, she says. His movies portray them as so dirty and ghetto. Yeah, I mean, he's kind of accurate. And he's not all that into the, slavery type stuff. So appreciate him for that, but he's all drama, all mama. And Yeah, he dresses up as a black female, like grandma, Big Mama. What a mess. Tyler Perry. And he's like all friendly with Oprah or something. Doesn't he have like multiple shows on Oprah Winfrey Network? What a mess. Let me get to the great Maze from Dayton, Ohio, has been on hold forever. My favorite caller, Maze. How are you doing?
I'm marvelous, James.
Nice.
Just listening to you. And Rick, tell him to put a muzzle on his mouth because he sounds so stupid. Anyway.
Rick who? Rick from Hampton, Virginia, or Rick from Maine?
No, the secondhand news person. That's what he is. Secondhand news on his own people. That Rick I'm talking about. But let's get to the point where you're talking about...
Wow, the hatred. Okay, go ahead.
Not hatred. It's just telling the truth.
Whatever.
Accept it if you want to. If you don't, just like Art explained something that the guy was discussing. Yeah, they keep talking about a race riot. It's a riot out there. Didn't you see what happened in Kentucky?
No, what happened in Kentucky? Which time? I remember one time in Louisville, Kentucky. I remember one time in Louisville, Kentucky, a bunch of like masses of blacks, like it looked like young blacks, descended on this. I'm not talking about black. I'm saying the storm. It just went through the town. And hold on,
let
me tell the story. I'm in the middle of the story now. You people can't tell what I said. They descended on this, like. Liquor store, no, it was a convenience store and gas station, and like pulled people out of the car, beat them, stole stuff from the store. It was a mess. And that was like 2014, and stuff has happened like that around the country a lot.
Well, what does that got to do with nature?
Well, you were talking about riot, race riot or something like that, so it made me think of that.
And took the whole town away. I guess y'all going to be mad. What if he's the one? You always
what are you talking about, Maze? Nobody knows what you're talking about.
I hear Caucasian men saying, somebody can't replace them, and somebody can't do this. What if God replacing you? You gonna get mad with them too?
Oh, so are you referring? Was there a rally in Kentucky or something like that?
No, I'm saying the storm that went and tore up the whole place.
Oh,
remember that storm?
Okay,
and just nothing left.
A tornado.
I mean, just actually looked like a war or something that's been through there.
So first she starts talking about race riots, and then she said, "Did you see what happened in Kentucky?"
I said that's what's going to take. That's what's going to stop these nuts that want to talk about a riot. That riot that went through that town and took the whole thing away.
By riot, you're talking about by riot. You're talking about tornado.
Yes, the tornado.
You make less sense, and you're harder to follow even than usual, Maze.
No, James. Don't get nervous. Just let me finish. I haven't talked to you in a while.
I'm not nervous. You're harder to follow than usual.
It wiped the whole town away.
Slow down.
All the people that lived in the town, it didn't have a black person or a white person. It just whoever was there. Everything they had is gone. So they're not looking for the same stuff that y'all do every day. I said, are you going to be upset with him? You thinking because he's taking what you think you got away? Are you going to be mad with nature too?
Oh, so you don't buy into this man-made climate change mess?
No, I don't.
Wow.
And also, I want you to say,
did you vote for Trump?
His movies. Now, the Boy Scouts are being sued, and the Catholic Church being sued. Is this what causing these men to be like this?
How do you know that it's men being like this? There's a whole lot of females. Are you aware that there's a lot of females who are being like that, and it's not being prosecuted?
No. If your child was a Boy Scout or altar boy, and things like that happen, that's why they got lawsuits. So
not necessarily.
Can't see that, and you know about it. How do they put a stop to that?
By not putting women and gays in charge.
And where no women even involved.
Yes, they are. Oh, yes, they are, Maze. Oh, yes, they are. Women are very involved.
The Boy Scout masters are messing with boys.
I said women and gays. And women are raising gays, Maze.
What?
Women are raising gays.
Always a woman's fault, as you say. But you always
you don't want to admit that women are part of the issue.
What I'm saying, the storms.
You don't want to admit the women's role
here, and you don't have no power. You think you got more power than anybody as a Caucasian man, but you don't have any power. You're just as weak as everybody else on this planet.
Whatever.
I want you to face that and recognize that and leave other people alone. You want to talk
women
about
have been running the scouts
everything except
women have been running the scouts for 20 years.
So since nature
maybe
taking
more
what
than that.
you got away, how are you feeling about it?
I'm not feeling anything about it. I wish the people well.
They was doing something to you.
I wish the people well.
I wish y'all will. Because the more going to come
No, you don't. You don't wish anybody well. You don't wish people well, Maze. You're just calling with all this malice.
Everything coming has got to be about the blacks.
I tell the truth about the blacks because I love the blacks.
You didn't create blacks, and you're not going to take. You didn't give them breath, and you won't take it away. As much as
I'm not trying to. They're the ones trying to take my breath away. Have you heard some of the talk the blacks have been saying?
They didn't give you breath, and they're not trying to take it away. That's your problem because you don't.
You have no idea what you're talking about. You're a mess.
Are you? I thought that's how you do.
I gotta go.
All thoughts are last. So you have a good day, James.
All right.
But think about it. Just look at that storm. Just look at how that tornado tore that place up.
Is she more annoying than usual today?
Wait.
Goodbye, Maze.
I say, follow his law. You'll make yourself better. Have a good one.
You too. Nice. Whew. Is she more grating than usual? Man. Let me get to Jonathan in Palo Alto, California. Jonathan, thank you for holding, man.
Hey, how's it going?
Going well.
That was hilarious. Man, I think you might be like, what do you call it, inside out Oreo or something, a little bit.
You think I'm black on the inside?
Yeah.
Why?
Maybe because I don't know how you understand what the heck Maze is saying. Man.
Oh, that's because I am white. I am a white. I have white listening skills.
Okay.
And I care.
It's just funny, man. It's because, like, you're responding like, you know, like, you can hear her perfectly, like, understand what she's, you know, saying.
Yeah,
I'm just like, dang, I can only understand, like, half of it, like,
right.
maybe, but it's pretty funny, man. She's funny.
Yep.
Cracks me up. So I just wanted to say real quickly, basically, that about this whole Jesus being a commie.
Yeah.
So I guess we got another guy who could have just used a Google instead of going to college or whatever. But
yeah.
But
Google is evil. But go ahead.
I mean, I've internet search.
Yeah.
Better. Yeah.
If you can think for yourself, you can read through the mess even by using Google. But they do censor a lot. Anyway, go ahead.
Yep. So, to me, you tell me if I'm wrong here, but the kind of the foundation of Christianity is that the individual is sacred.
I don't know.
I just like do unto others. You know, do unto others as you would have them do unto yourself, right?
Okay. And so like that values the individual, I suppose?
Yeah.
All right. I don't know.
It's like the individual
is responsibility. Yep. And freedom.
Yeah.
And a respect for the freedom of the people. Allow them the freedom to hate. That's what all this anti-hate stuff is, anti-human.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Yeah, and so to me, that's like if you Google or internet search.
No, you're fine.
The definition of capitalism.
Okay.
It just means power to the. Everybody gets this wrong. They're like, oh, it just means that money is all important and whatever cost. No.
Yep.
No, it's that the individual is important at whatever cost.
Okay.
You know, that's what the definition of capitalism is. It's power is in the hands of the individual business owner. That's like the definition of capitalism.
Okay. You have Robert Lee cracking up at internet search. Your advice to internet search, but your point is well taken. It's a fair point, I think.
That's like totally in line with Christianity, you know.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, especially when this stuff that we have right now is not respect. It's not morals. It is not.
Yeah, they've
freedom.
taken the power away from the individual business owner, man. I mean, you got De Blasio and all these morons.
He was about to say the right word. Yep. Anyway.
Yep. You know, that's what they've done. Is they've taken that's how they're ushering in communism. Is they're slowly taking away the power from the individual business owner. You know, they're saying you can't do this. You got to tell people to do that, whatever, and more. Now you got to have a 5-year-old show a Vax card. You know, you got to give them all the boosters. And actually, on that subject, another reason I wanted to call is the most important video anybody could watch right now on YouTube. And it's like a miracle that it's on there.
I think it's been censored by YouTube. Anyway.
Huh?
I'm playing. I'm making a joke. But go ahead.
Oh, well, yeah, no, other than the Hake Report. I'm just kidding. Theo Von did this interview with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and it's like 2 hours long. But the only reason it's still on YouTube is because Theo Von's like a stand-up comedian, so it's like flying under the radar. But this guy, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he's...
he was the guy who was interviewed by Tucker recently. He's an...
Oh, really? Tucker had him on?
Is he the same guy who's suspicious about the forced vaccinations and stuff?
He wrote The Real Anthony Fauci, this book.
All right.
Everybody's got to read it. And
I can't endorse those, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, this stuff, like, I can't even talk about it on your show. Just
all right.
I want to be safe, here. But
I appreciate it. Thank you for looking out.
Yeah, definitely go check that out, man. That interview is super important. It's totally crazy. It basically means that Fauci is like the worst person that's ever lived, pretty much.
That's funny, man.
I'm serious. It's crazy.
Well, thank you, Steve. Steve.
And you can lump Bill Gates in there, too.
Say again?
And the CIA. And you can lump Bill Gates in there, too, with Fauci and that worst people ever thing.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate the tips, man.
Anyway.
It's good to hear from you.
Yeah.
All right.
For sure. You too.
Take care.
All right.
Bye. Man. Before I get to the calls, I'm going to get to Scott in Jacksonville, Florida next, and Stephen in Rhode Island. I got to share this with you. I promised you I would cover this throwback hate crime, and it is such an interesting set of clips. I played this over a year and a half, well, almost 2 years ago. Clip 11A is the first 8 seconds that I want to share with you. This is from Dr. Paul Richards. Fake hate crime example, okay, guys? Fake hate crime. Every hate crime is a fake hate crime. Superintendent of the American School of Dubai. This is a cringy TEDx Talk, which when you say cringy TEDx Talk, is that not redundant? Yes, it is probably redundant. And he shares a trigger warning. Listen to this.
Before I get started, I just want to provide a warning to everyone. I'm going to be referencing a well-known hate group that operates in the United States.
That's his trigger warning. And that well-known hate group is not Black Lives Matter, not Antifa, not the Democrat Party. Those are well-known hate groups that operate in the United States trying to take us down with their female-minded liberalism and communism. No, he's talking about the KKK. Has anybody... Press 1 if you've had a run-in with the KKK. Press 2 if you've never had a run-in with the KKK. And press 3 if the KKK is a joke. Here's clip B, minute and less than a half minute long. Minute 18 seconds. Here's his story as a early days of being a high school principal. Listen to this.
The year's 2004, it's October, and I've just driven into school. It's my very first year as the high school principal. And there are a group of students waiting for me. They were a group of Metco students. Now, Metco is basically the Boston busing program, where hundreds of students from inner city neighborhoods across Boston literally get onto buses and come into the suburbs for access to high-quality education. A very controversial and long-standing program, but these students are incredibly important to our community. What are you going to do about this, Mr. Richards? A student reaches out with a whole bunch of leaflets. They were leaflets from the Ku Klux Klan. Yes, the KKK. And there were dozens of them all across the school. Now, you probably know the KKK through your study of U.S. history and the terror that they've reigned all across the U.S. Over the years, from after the Civil War into the Civil Rights Movement. And you may know that they're actually, unfortunately, still active today. You might see them at marches, and you may or may not know that one of their strategies of spreading their hate speech is through canvassing, where they basically spam a community with their literature.
Okay, so he's presented by, what is it, junior high? I think it's like 7th and 8th graders, like 13 and 14-year-olds, 12-year-olds. If I have this correct, I tuned him out a little bit because he's so soft and weak. Oh, no! Well, listen to this. It's about 1 minute 38 seconds long. Turns out it was all fake. Listen to this.
So I placated the students, got them back to class, said, I'm going to get right on top of it. And I was thinking to myself, oh, no. I can assure you those weren't the exact words I used. So we launched an investigation, as you might do, and we discovered something quite shocking, in fact. The KKK did not, in fact, canvass Needham High School. One of our very own Metco students had found an actual flyer somewhere outside the community, brought it into school, used our copiers, made dozens of copies, and spread them all across the school, and reserved a few to take up to the brand new high school principal.
That is not shocking.
You can imagine how shocked, angry, upset, distraught we were. Really hurt. So we started thinking about consequences. But as we contemplated, we first wanted to ask them why. Why did you do this? Why did you disrupt this school? Why did you cause such embarrassment in the press to this community? And I'll never forget this. A young woman of color, Shayna, she said, Mr. Richards, this school for years has ignored our lived experience. They've ignored the challenges we face coming from our communities into this nearly entirely white community of Needham. These flyers were a wake-up call to you. Okay, not the response I expected.
What a phony, huh? Oh, our lived experience made us make up this fake hate crime because we hate white people and we live in a majority white community now. What a mess, huh? By the way, the people responded to my request if they've ever had a run-in. A couple people have had a run-in. Viewer USA says he has had a run-in with the KKK. Whole bunch of 2s never had a run-in. 3s say that they are a joke. And Uncle Ted 88 asks, a hate group that operates in the United States, trigger warning, the ADL? Good point, man. Yeah, enemies of America. Anyway, here is a little bit more. No punishment. Clip, D? Clip D. No punishment for these frauds.
It still would have been much easier to punish. But, you know, the Latin root for the word discipline means to teach. And to teach this lesson through punishment made us feel like hypocrites. So we instead chose to listen. We chose to learn from the students.
Liars.
In fact, we didn't punish at all. We launched a comprehensive anti-bias campaign across the school to create a new chapter in Needham High School. We created affinity groups for students. We created opportunities to talk, to listen. We had students talking to students, students talking to teachers. We had trainers coming in. We even tapped into the district's efforts to close the achievement gap. And we made a real difference. When it is hardest to do so, we must listen, for it's our greatest chance for peace and happiness.
Peace with Satan. So horrible, huh? Here's 2 more minutes of this mess from this male. He's so feminine. Okay, post-racial. Clip E. Are we post-racial?
Are we post-racial? Or is race just a thing of the past? Now remember, President Obama had just been elected, And there was this feeling that it's a major milestone here.
2004?
Even though if you were paying
hadn't.
attention, there were examples all through the press of racial insensitivities in sports or ethnic conflicts in faraway places. But it was a legitimate question to have and to pose. And then a few years later, the powder keg exploded. Trayvon Martin in Florida.
Thug.
Michael Brown in the riots of Ferguson, Missouri. And Eric Garner in New York City.
Thug.
And then in 2016, Trump was elected. And the xenophobes came out of the swamp. And race politics are now front and center. The wall.
Beautiful.
The travel ban.
Yes.
And DACA. So I ask you,
get rid of DACA.
Again, are we post-racial? Is race just a thing of the past? Perhaps not.
Doesn't seem morally straight. Here's the last one. Talking about, we need to be listening. So lame.
But you know, this is not listening. These are actually police officers, not soldiers.
Militarization of police.
Nor is this listening, violence against police. When it is hardest to do so, we must listen, for that's our greatest chance for peace and for happiness. We listen so that we can validate the differences among us, so nobody becomes invisible. We listen to appreciate culture, what explorer Wade Davis calls humanity's greatest legacy. We listen so that we can respond to conflict rather than react. We listen so we don't miss the incredible messages in this powerful social movements that we see today.
So shameful. Disgusting. I had to share that with you just to remind you of the fakeness. They commit a fake hate crime and he rewards them. Sick. Let me get to Scott in Jacksonville, Florida. He's been on hold forever. Scott, how are you, man?
I'm good. How are you doing, sir?
I'm fine. Get right to it, please.
Real quick, it's a book I read when I was really young. Came of age, couldn't understand a lot of stuff in life, why I was different than everyone else, why I was seeking stuff but Jesse talks about, it's called the garbage generation. It talks about social issues, like the women, given the right to have the children after a divorce, or the children being taken away from the father, blah, 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 And so long story short, some of the things in there talked about what happened around the time of the Civil War. So in that book, it talks about things that I think are the real reasons why the Civil War happened, not necessarily to free slaves, more or less to change how we perceive property rights. And it was, the North against the South, and like you said, the North aggression.
Right.
It's kind of funny, but
it's true though.
So
because the South just wanted to secede. Had they been allowed to secede, there would have been no war.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I heard that they had the legal right to secede. I think it's in the Constitution.
I think so too. There's a lot of stuff in the Constitution that they don't pay attention to anymore.
Right. Yeah, it's so true, man. Ridiculous. Well, interesting, man. Appreciate the tip. Good to hear from you, Scott.
Hey, have a great day.
You as well. All right. And last but not least, Stephen in Rhode Island, a first-time caller. How are you doing, Stephen?
Hi, James. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Yeah, I was calling about...
Come closer to your phone. It's coming in a little quiet. It sounds a little far away. Are you in speaker?
Can you hear me now?
Much better. Wow, thank you.
Okay, cool. I was calling about an article from December 14th. It's on spotlightpa.org, and the title of the masthead is Pennsylvania revises Confederate markers, recast forces as enemy soldiers. And this is from the Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commission. And on the third sentence, they made a new marker. They changed all the verbiage. And it says on the second sentence that the killing of injured prisoners, etc., it says, on June 29th, 1863, Union troops of the 1st New York Cavalry attacked the enemy soldiers, meaning the Confederates.
Wow.
Yeah, you can check it out. There's a photograph of the new sign, too.
Okay.
So that's all that PC going crazy there in Pennsylvania.
Shameful. And they have the gall, or chutzpah, to accuse us of revisionist history. They're the ones revising it. They're communists. They're lying about
One last
history.
thing, I think I'd email you about this too. The stars and bars, the bars of the Confederate flag are actually a homage to William Wallace and the Scottish flag, because it's the St. Andrew's cross.
Wow, and that William Wallace guy is the guy from that great movie that I haven't watched yet.
Yep. Yeah, he's studying the English.
What's the name of that movie?
Braveheart.
Braveheart, a Mel Gibson movie from the 90s. Nice.
Right. Yep. Okay, James. Thank you.
Great to hear from you, Stephen. Appreciate you.
All right, take it easy, man.
You as well. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Gettysburg Campaign. Wow. So shameful. I have a little meme that I just dragged into the folder. I saw it in the Odyssey chat. Ooh, who shared it? Was it, what's his name? Was it Asador? NAACP. I think I put it in the folder. Do you see it in the main folder? You might have to refresh. It's an NAACP building, and it's a black guy. I think I put it in there. Oh. Here, let me... No, I put it in there. You see it? Okay. It's a black guy. It's a drawing. It's a cartoon, but it's accurate to what's going on. And a black dude wearing a KKK, purportedly, like, white robe, but he forgot his cone head hat. Spray painting KKK on the outside of a NAACP building in the middle of the night. And some guy says, "Hey, brother, what you doing?" Because so much of the time that you see the swastikas and the N-word and the KKK painted on college campuses, College Fix or Campus Reform has covered this stuff, have been fake. They've been the ones, blacks and gays and females have been the ones doing this. I've told you this before. You know it probably if you've been paying attention at all. FakeHateCrimes.com might even be a website. There's multiple different websites. Reddit boards and all, subreddits and all that. I don't know. Maybe they've been censored by now. By the way, Asmodor says about this caller, the caller is wrong. The stars and bars were based on the English flag. Or they were based on the English flag. The flag with the X cross isn't the stars and bars. That's the first national flag that looks somewhat like the Betsy Ross flag. Okay. So we got confused over here. Some of my callers and I. What a mess. But anyway, guys, that's that for that. Appreciate you guys bearing with me through the fun Christmas music with the not morally straight Sufjan Stevens and these messes of clips. But if you didn't already, catch the Bond Archive Sunday service throwback. Why are the Christians getting laws against them when it used to be the Christians making laws against the evil? But now the evil are making laws against the Christians. And this was way back in 2012, which is not that far back. But it's a great Sunday service archive. Check it out if you didn't already, or check it out again if you weren't totally paying attention. And we should have a God's Learning Channel episode at 4 p.m. on Jesse Lee Peterson's YouTube channel, just by the way. I do some of this archive content, so I know about it. Anyway, guys, thank you, and take care.